All right, I want to thank y'all for coming out to this presentation. This is going to be a straightforward presentation. Got a lot to talk about. It's very important that we have this conversation because we're going to be learning how to set up your financial foundation to win. This is by myself, Marquise Jackson L. Let's get into it. All right, let's do this. Okay, step one. First thing you need to do is decide how much money you want coming in your household daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. Sit down and just write out how much money would you like to see coming in your household on a daily basis. Like how much money you want to have access to on a daily basis. How much money you want to have access to on a weekly basis. How much money you want to have access to on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis. Like write this stuff down. Like write it down. There's a scripture in the Bible that's in Habakkuk that says, write the vision down, make it plain on the tablet, so they that read it may run with it. Though the vision tarry for a while, wait. It shall surely come to pass. It shall surely come to pass. So decide right now how much money you want coming in daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Okay, to decide how much money you want coming in daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly, you have to consider a few things about the type of money you currently have coming in your household and your needs, wants, investments, and savings goal. So you got to determine these things, okay? Now, a helpful starting point is to use the ESBI model. This model will help you understand the kind of cash flow you have working for you. Okay. Another helpful starting point, and I did that wrong. That's a typo, y'all. Apologize for that. But another starting helpful point is the 50-30-20 rule. Okay. Where you allocate 50% of your income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to investments and savings and debt repayments. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have some set percentages going to these things. This can help you balance your budget and create a plan for financial stability. Now, here's a breakdown of how you can approach this, okay? Let's look at this breakdown. Identify your needs. These are expenses you can't realistically avoid, such as housing, food, transportation, utilities, and healthcare. Can't avoid these things. These are our lively expenses that we're gonna have to have, and we can't avoid. These are needs. Okay. Also, the next number two, you want to identify your wants. Okay. These are expenses like entertainment, dining out, subscriptions, and shopping. And not to say that any of these are discretionary expenses. You know what I'm saying? These are expenses that you can kind of monitor. But it's important for us to have the entertainment, or what I'm saying. Some of us can't act right if we don't go and get entertained and relax and get in a relaxing state, watch a movie or something like that, or dining out. You need to be taking your spouses out. Spouses need to be taking each other out, because we go through things in life that we're gonna need those outlets. Okay, subscriptions. That's kind of like a need by need or a want, actually. But some subscription, if you decided that, okay, we're not going to do no entertainment outside, but we are going to have our subscriptions, so we can watch our movies here at the house. That's something. Shopping, that's necessary. Some things you're going to shop for, some things you just want to buy. Okay, so these are discretionary expenses. All right, these are at our discretion of what we want to do. Okay, but you have to have a budget. You got to understand what you want. All right. Now, number three, determine the money, investments, and savings goal. Determine your money, investments, and savings goal. This includes building up your cash flow for the amount of money you would like to use daily, weekly, and monthly, building up your cash flow for emergency funds, investments, and savings for your retirement, and money to pay off debt. I cannot express how important this stuff is, that we kind of like, well, when I get the extra money, I can do it. No, you have to determine your money, investment, and savings goals. Okay, we're gonna help you with that. If you don't know how to do that, we're gonna give you some goals. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need a financial advisor, go consult one. I'm not a financial advisor. These are just things that I'm doing. I'm sharing with you that I'm doing that's working for me. Okay, and can work for anybody. All right. So calculate. Step 4, calculate your desired monthly income. Calculate your desired monthly income. If you're using the 50-30-20 rule, you start by figuring out how much you need to cover your monthly expenses. 50% of your income goes towards that. Okay, then you decide how much you want to allocate to your wants. 30% goes towards that. Okay, and how much to invest and save, and your savings. How much investments and savings? 20% goes towards that. And you can flip flop the wants from your investment, because I think you should add more to your investments and less to your wants. Okay, and kind of balance that. Once you have these percentages, you can work backwards to determine the total monthly income you need. Because if you don't know what you need, you're not going to shoot for that goal. And it's important for us to do these things so that we can have this information, this data for us, so that we can start a successful life. Okay? Number 5, calculate your daily, weekly, and yearly income. Once you have your monthly income, you can divide it by 30, average of 30 days in a month, right? To get your daily income, divide it by 4. To get your weekly income, average week in a month, multiply it by 12 to get your yearly income. All right? And this is an example. All right? Let's just say your monthly income target is $5,000. All right? To meet your needs, 50%, you'll need $2,500 as an expense that you accumulated. Okay? For your wants, we're going to put 30% towards that. You're going to need $1,500. That's for all your wants. You just spend $1,500 for all your wants. And once that's over with, you can't spend no more. You can also increase that if you want now. All right. For investments, savings, and debts for repayment of debt, 20% goes towards that. You'll need $1,000. Okay. If your budget was $5,000. So a daily budget of $5,000 times 30 days, you need to be making $166.67. $166.67 per day to meet these goals. Weekly, $5,000 divided by 4, that's going to come up to $1,250. Okay? Then yearly income times that by 12, that's $60,000 a year that you're going to need coming in extra, if that was your goal. That's it, yeah. That's an example. And these numbers can change based off of your target goal. Your target goal don't have to be 5,000, it can be more. You just do those math. Divided by 30, divided by 4, times it by 12. Okay? And that's going to give you what you need in order to accomplish those goals. Okay. Now, if your job is not meeting the expectations, we're gonna talk about that. Okay. We're gonna talk about some strategies. Remember, this is just a starting point. This is just a starting point to get you on track on what you have to do. You can adjust the 50-30-20 rule based on your individual circumstances and goals. For example, if you prioritize investments and saving, you might want to allocate more to investments and saving and less to wants. Okay? Because your wants can always wiggle. If you invest into investments, certain investments, and then put it in certain savings accounts that we're going to be talking about that we have access to, you're going to reach your goals. You're going to be able to do your wants. So if you can sacrifice just a little bit of your wants to get what you need, man, it's gonna do some justice. I'm telling you. Um, it's also important to review and adjust your budget regularly. Okay, to make sure that it's meeting your needs and your goals. Okay, because you want to be happy, but at the same time, you got to put the priorities there first. All right. So step two, we're gonna talk about this the ESBI model. You have to understand what type of cash flow is working for you. What type of cash flow you decided. What type of cash flow you are in alignment and agreement with to come in your household to make sure that you can take care of your livelihood, your family, your vacationing, what you want to do in life. These are the only ways that you can make money. Okay? There's only 4 ways to make money. 4 ways that you decide that you want to make money. We're going to break these things down because this is important. These are stuff that they did not teach us. This, matter of fact, this came from Robert Kiyosaki. He breaks these things down. We're going to break it down today. If you have a chance to read Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, read that book. I'm not getting paid for advertising. I'm just shooting out some information that changed my entire life once I got access to this information because of the coaching, because of the mentorships that I have in my life, even today, even though me being successful business-wise and all that stuff. I still have mentors, all right? This is important now. So let's talk about it. Let's do this breakdown. Okay, on one side, and that's the E&S, that's the active income, okay? You work for money, okay? On the other side, that's the passive. Money's working for you. We're going to break them all down, all right? So in the E quadrant, you exchange your time and efforts for an income. You don't work, you don't get paid. A lot of us only understand that one right there. We understand, hey, I go get me a job. If I don't get my hours, my check gonna be short. If I don't get the time in, man, I'm not gonna get the paycheck that I need. And it's gonna be a little short. And it's gonna throw off for what I got going on. How many of us are experiencing that, even right now? How many of us are living paycheck to paycheck? Thank God I don't live paycheck to paycheck anymore, but how many of us are living paycheck to paycheck? I remember living paycheck to paycheck and how stressful it was, not knowing if I was going to have enough because my wants came before my needs. And sometimes things came up and I just, hey, I work hard, I can spend this extra money, then life happens. Something unexpected came up. So what I should have looked at that time was I wasn't making the type of money that I need. I need to make more money. I didn't increase, but I didn't know this information because no one ever told me about the ESBI. They didn't tell me there was 4 ways to make money. If I would have known this, I would have chose other ways earlier. So the S quadrant, let's look at that. Self-employed, you work for yourself, but ask yourself, if you work for yourself, can you afford to take a 6 week holiday and your business keep on going without you? Now, is working for yourself bad? No, it is not. It is the first step of learning about entrepreneurship and how to take control of your life. The S quadrant is the gateway. It's the door opener. You start your first LLC. But how many of us started the LLC and didn't know how to establish the LLC? Robert Kiyosaki calls this side the loser side. Okay, because they don't get the information that they want. You can see half of his body. He got the regular work shirt, work pants, work shoes. And on the other side, it's the business side. He got the tie, the nice suit, tailor-made suit, nice shoes. And, he's got a spunk to him. But on this side, it is the loser side because we get taxed the most money. Inflation hits us. The economy rises up and the jobs never rise up. the cost of living goes up higher and your income stays lower, it stays the same or it decreases. Just had an episode of my job where they took $5 from my pay. That was an extra $800 a week that I was getting that I no longer get now. And they cut my check down. Could I do anything about it? Yes, I could. Quit and go get another job. But I already have a business and working for myself, LLC, got a system going, which I'm telling you about. I already got those things, so I'm good. But how many people are good? How many people? There's a lot of people that don't have a business work for them. They don't have a system that's working. They don't have investments working for them. They're not making money in the investment side or the business side. They just have an E. They don't have an S and an E. They just got an E. So this is why he says this side is the loser side, because you're losing everything. You're losing time, you're losing money, you're losing percentages, you're losing opportunity that could change your life because you just don't know. So what led me to get to this point is the fact that I wanted out of this rat race. I wanted to get free. I wanted to know how to be successful. I just didn't want to know how to open up an LLC, but I wanted to be successful. And the first time I opened up my LLC, I was working for. I couldn't go on vacation for 6 weeks and my business still flow. I had to be there to build the business. I didn't have a system in place, which brings us to the passive side. Money working for you. Hold on, let's go back. My bad. Money working for you. This is the side that everybody wants to be on. They want money working for them, but they don't want to put in the skin. They don't want to make the initial investments. They're scared. They're skeptical because they're like, well, what if it don't work? But what if it do work? And everything works when you work it. And everything works when you understand the system. So this is big business. These people have people working hard for them to generate them an income. Don't that sound familiar? Sound like your job, huh? They got you working hard for them, generating them that monthly income, that weekly income, that daily income, because they get paid every day. You get paid every week or every 2 weeks. They get paid every day versus you get paid every week or every 2 weeks. And they got you working hard to generate them income. But guess what? You can have the same thing if you do the same thing. You can't have the same thing, I promise you. But you got to do the same thing. Then we're going to talk about the I. That's the investors. They are people that have money working hard for themselves. Playing golf, living the good life. Living a good life, y'all. How many of you, ladies and gentlemen, that are listening to this presentation want to live the good life? The only way to live the good life, you have to understand these systems. You have to understand how much money, what type of money you got working for you. What type of money you got working for your household. If you just have an E, if you're just an employee, not saying it's bad. It's not bad, but you have to put yourself in position. What is your status outside of your job? Do you have a business? Do you have an LLC? Are you starting a business? Do you got investments going on? Did you start a affiliate business? Because those are the best businesses to start right now. Yes, you got to put work in. And what's the work? Talking to people, sharing information, sharing videos, listen to videos like this, getting understanding, getting knowledge, getting people involved with what you're doing, solving problems. Your affiliate program has to solve a problem that's going to help people get to the next level. Those are the type of affiliate programs you need to be a part of, because these affiliate programs are paying people thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. We're not talking about on a week to week. We're talking about on a day to day, on a month to month. People are making massive income. And then what you do with that money is you start investing. What do you invest in? Stuff like real estate. And we got access to all the stuff that you can invest in. Okay? So let's keep going. All right. So now We talked about a starting point, right? You know, knowing what kind of money you got working for yourself, what systems are you can use, the ESBI and the 50-30-20 rule. Okay, these are just starting points, ladies and gentlemen, because there's levels to this game. There really is levels to this game. And you have to understand those levels. All right. But this is step 3. How to make the ESBI work for you. Okay, let's look at this. You have to have a job. So is having a job bad? No, but just having a job is bad. You have to start an LLC. You own your job. You own a job. All right? That's not bad. That's good. It's going to teach you how to create big business. You're going to learn. You're going to get mentored. Especially if you join our club. You're going to get mentored. You're going to get taught. You're going to have access to Fortune 5,000 companies. You're going to have access to all kinds of stuff that's going to help you build your business. And then once you get good, you want to create a business. Okay? You want to be a business owner. You own a system that works for you. That's what you want to create. A system that works for you, where you can leave for 6 months and your business still making residual income every day, every week, every month, every year. I tell people join our affiliate program. We have so many people that joined our affiliate program and they're successful making 6 figures. You can do this, but you got to start. And then once you start making that residual income, the passive income, you need to invest. We got plenty of things for you to invest in that are real, that can help you. Real estate, gold, silver, the right resources. So that's why when you join our program, we're going to help you and guide you with all the information and resources that you need so you can get this stuff started. All right? So this is how you have it working for you. You have to understand how the system works. You have to have a cash flow. That is your job. Okay, your job is probably not paying you or not, but it's keeping you steady. Okay? And you got to think about it, man. This job is actually paying for your lifestyle. How you're able to pay your bills, how you're able to take your wife out, your husband, your children, how you're able to buy things for your household. That money that you get from that job is actually controls how your life is. You can increase that dough by increasing your status. Okay? Becoming a business owner. Get an LLC. We're going to show you how to do that and how to set it up. And then you need to, even though you have an LLC, you need to have an affiliate account. You need to create a system that's going to work for you. We have the best affiliate program that can help you with your personal life and your business life at the same time. And then we have those things that you can invest in. Definitely want to get with us. All right, so let's move on. I believe that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. We want you to be a part of what we got going on, and get with the person that shared this information with you and take your life to the next level. I'll talk to you later. This is Marquise Jackson L. See you at the next tutorial. Shalom.